I got this inspiration for this. It's funny, I've talked to several of y'all about this before, but I don't wake up Monday morning, go, oh, this is what I'm going to teach on Thursday. I kind of let it organically go throughout the week. And as I hear things on social media, or as I read something, or if I talk to another agent or experience something, it kind of triggers me to go, that would be great to talk about. And this was triggered by, I think it was last week, I had a meeting with Josh Sigmund, and he was talking about, what's to come, what we're doing, how to increase our business. Took like a great amount of notes, and it was really insightful. And I was like, I need to share that information with anybody that wants to listen. All right. So, and then I worked with agents this morning and kind of helping her, giving her some direction into her business. So we're kind of going to talk about what's next. I'm sure y'all all have heard, the scary, scary times that we're about to face, whether it's the recession is coming, interest rates are going to skyrocket, it's going to slow down buyers, all these crazy, crazy things. And then, of course, I don't know the exact term of it, but that thing that just passed in court, that all of a sudden sellers might not have to pay for a buyer's agent, which can totally like rock our world and change a whole lot of different things. So we're not necessarily going to address those things, but obviously those are things that are sort of present and kind of need to be addressed, yet not derail us, right? So I like this format. So we're going to go around the room real quick, and we're going to just go, what's your success story? Like, what's going well for you right now? What is working for you? And then maybe something that you need help with. And then at the end, I like this. This is kind of ripping this off from Josh's format. At the end, we'll do like, what's your one thing? So like after we talk about everything, okay, what's the one thing that you took away from this chat that you would like to apply? All right. So let's start with Christina, since she was first in the room. Talk to us about what's going on with your business. How's it going?
I don't know. It's been tough. I have my main client that I've had for like 3 months, and we just keep. The last house we put in 10K over conventional, and winning offer apparently was over 25,000 over for what, $165,000 house.
Mm-hmm.
Just so I don't know. I don't feel like I'm having much success, except that I haven't lost my client and he still trusts me and we're still working together. So
yeah,
that's my success.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Neil Mathwick says that all the time, and that's probably what we're going to experience. We've already experienced it. It might even get worse a little bit, but it's like maintaining that relationship, right? So they still want to buy. We still have to figure out a way how to get them across the finish line, as best as possible. I go into it. I know that I pretty much talk to a new buyer or somebody that's looking to buy. I'm like, hey, the market is going. Most offers are being considered at 5 to 10% above asking. So I kind of upfront, I put that in their head and just go, hey, so based off of that number, do you feel comfortable going in at X, or do we need to lower our budget a little bit so that we can have that flexibility of going to the 5, 7, 10% over, just so that they kind of know that. So that might be a conversation that you want to have.
Well, that was his max on that house.
Right.
Literally his max was 10K over what was listed at. So yeah, but I don't know. There's a success. We're still working. Need help getting an offer accepted.
Cool. Is there anything else that you could use some help with right now?
No. Hey, my 12-week yearbook just came in, so I'm excited to get that started.
And you have your talk on Monday, is that right?
Yes, my discovery coaching call with Neil is on Monday.
Yeah. All right, I look forward to next week. You're going to tell us all about it.
Oh, sure.
Well, cool. Thanks. Justin, talk to us about, where's your business at? How's it going? Anything that you need help with?
Can you hear me? I'm still fairly new, so right now I'm still working. I'm working with like renters and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
I have hosted an open house, and that was okay. But I'm just started to do like some productive activities. I had watched some of Alan videos, and I talked to Alan because he was my mentor at first. So,
Yep.
and I attended a lot of some Rick trainings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I've been doing good as far as the renters. Like that's easy. So I'm just trying to give me a listing or a buyer right now.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, you're listening to the right people. I'll tell you that from experience. I didn't know anything when I first started in 2019. And I went to a lot of Rick Tankersley trainings. And I followed a lot of that. Obviously, Mark Chambers and Alan Grulick have been great mentors to me, even to this day and beyond. So just keep doing those things. I think Rick does those like morning little things.
Yes,
I
I attend those too, and also I have read the 12-week work year, and I also just read the one thing.
Nice, nice, nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, both of those are great books. I definitely recommend Ninja Selling and Agent Rise.
Okay.
For you to go on to the next ones.
Oh,
So
perfect.
yeah,
Thank you. Thank you.
keep doing those, and then just do like those productive activities, like you said. What are they, and do them consistently. Right. I know one of the things that works pretty well for me, and I got it from Rick, was doing the Facebook Marketplace ads.
Yes. Yes.
So if you do those, you're going to talk to people.
Correct.
A lot of the conversations aren't great. I'll be honest with you. They're just kicking tires. But I have a couple really good clients right now that are at a pretty good price point, that I got from Marketplace. So I just
Okay.
keep pumping those out.
All right. Thank you, boss.
Cool, man. Hey, Mark. Talk to us about where your business is at, and I don't know if I can help you, but maybe just share some information.
Yeah, sure. I think I mentioned on the last time I was on here, I had a record first quarter.
Yep.
So it was really cool. I had 9 closings, about 3.5 million. But then it just stopped. Like, I don't know why it tends to be that way for me sometimes, usually in April.
Yeah.
And I had a really good listing in Almost Park, but I lost it. It was an estate sale. The executor of the estate really wanted to use me, and I'd done quite a bit of work on it. And then the other 2 parties who grew up in Elm Heights but don't live here now, decided they had an old family friend and they really wanted to use him. They wanted him to use her. And anyway, long story made short, he just was feeling the stress, and I basically fired myself and just said, "Hey, man, it's not worth it. You're gonna sell the house," which they did. They're under contract. But anyway, it was a little bit of a bummer. That what I try to do when stuff like that happens is get over it. I spend a day, complaining to everybody usually, and then
Yeah.
then I'm like, you need to suck it up and move on. So usually when I do that, things kind of turn around a little bit. And what I found, and maybe this will help people, is when you have a setback, like putting in an offer and not getting it, and that kind of frustration, just stay active. Just be a person, an active person. Just keep as positive as you can and keep as much action going. And that energy is going to happen. So I did pick up, I've got a couple of new listings that are coming out in the next couple of weeks. And I picked up a buyer yesterday and a buyer today. And the buyer today is really interesting. I'm going to tell this story real quick.
Yeah.
Because it makes a difference. I had a listing about 6 or 7 months ago, and an agent had a client, who the agent lived in the Killeen area. She had a client really interested in this house, and she really wanted to see it, but she couldn't get all the way down here for it. So she called me to ask if I'd go open it up, and it was in Shirt, so it's not super close to me. But anyway, I did. I went and showed her clients the home, and she was so incredibly appreciative. And they ended up not going for it.
Yeah.
And I thought that was it. But and I was very communicative. She would text me, I'd write back. She had some questions after the showing. Anyway, long story made short, she called me today and said, "Hey, I've got a great buyer that's moving to San Antonio. You were so awesome. I'd love to refer them to you. Would you do a referral fee?" And I was like, "Absolutely." So anyway, she hooked me up with them. They're pretty solid. They're looking at about 650,000. So that's going to be, nice if we can find them something.
Yeah.
So anyway, the point is karma, treat people well, go the extra mile, and you never know, it might come back to you. So that would be the success.
Yeah.
So
No, I love that, and that's exactly right. And thanks for sharing that. I before we go on, I just want to kind of mention this. This is a similar. Again, I mentioned Josh Sigmund a couple times. I've done 2 of his monthly sit-in Zoom things. But as we go around the room, you might want to just jot some notes down. Like, this is my notes from Josh's group, and he goes a little bit more in depth. And I mean, it's an hour and a half meeting of like talking to each person, and to just go, ooh, that's a great idea. That's a great nugget. Let me write that down. So, there's a lot of good stuff that's being shared, and thanks for sharing that, Mark. Hey, Alan, do you have some time to chat real quick? Hop on and kind of tell us what's going on in your world.
Hey, absolutely. Good to see everybody. Hey, Tony, thank you so much again for doing this. It's so valuable. I think, like for me, sometimes it's kind of like we humanize our day to day. Like I remember that everybody's going through the same thing, the ups and downs. That's kind of our theme. It's like we always talk about ups and downs and being productive and momentum. So anyway, thank you for that. And then I also, similar to Mark, actually, in many ways, had a record first quarter, which Tony, because we set goals together and was able to do that. It was not the same volume as Mark, because my price point is lower, hopefully going up. In fact, if you want to find out about raising your price point, JJ has some really good nuggets for that. I was at his training again today. So I had 7 or 8 closings in the first quarter, and I had a closing this week. I have, and things are going still pretty well. I've got 4 under contract and 3 upcoming listings, all way higher than my normal price point. So I'm really excited about that. And what the entire group is doing, of course. And, but I definitely had a challenge. I was starting my new 12-week year. I know people are probably sick of me talking about the 12-week year, especially my wife is probably sick of me talking about the 12-week year. But I started this week, Monday, and I started and I had gotten on this strict diet. And then at the same time, we got this like violent virus. I don't even want to go into detail because it's terrible. And I just, like, Monday came around and I was sick. It's like, this is my first day.
Yeah.
And I would not recommend it, but I sucked it up and I just worked through it, and I've been working through it this whole week. So that's been a real difference for me. Whereas in the past, I definitely would have thrown in the towel. I did Andy Frizella's 75 hard mental fitness challenge last year. And honestly, it changed a lot for me. And here's what I would share to spin it positive. And this is almost another way of describing what Mark was talking about. We talk about like when we have momentum and then we don't have momentum. And we're like, when we don't have momentum, we're like, oh, I lost it. Where'd it go? Like it's some mystical thing. And for me, I finally realized that we create the momentum. It's literally our mindset and our actions. And so if we lose momentum, it's 99% of the time, it's going to be based on what our activity has been, the past month to 90 days. And so what's really cool about hearing Mark's story is I remember the last time he went through that, the slump was so much longer. Right, Mark? And this time he was like, nope, and stepped it up. And you know what? When you put out this positive energy and you take action, all of a sudden you create attraction. Buyers are attracted to you, especially through social media. Sellers are attracted, and agents are attracted to you because you're producing. So, if you feel like you're losing momentum, I'm wrapping it up here, Tony.
No,
you need to force that negative energy. You have to go through a point where you're forcing yourself to create momentum, because in the beginning, every day can be a struggle, whether it's selling real estate or attracting agents or fixing your health. It's so hard in the beginning, but you have to force it, for the first week or so. and then get it going and then keep the momentum because you're creating it. So that's been my big takeaway. And oh, by the way, if you need help getting back in the mindset, connect with Tony, connect with Mark, connect with me. Like that's what we do. So I know that always helps, even if you're not wanting to make the call to get yourself out of that rut. So thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for sharing. And it's so true. Sometimes we feel like we're on an island and we're all by ourselves as solo agents, but just know that there's some great agents right here in this room, that you can lean on and go, hey, like yesterday I had another agent call me and he was just upset because he felt so bad about a situation. I won't go into depth. And, I was like, hey man, don't beat yourself up. We've all been there. It'll all be okay. And that's all he needed to hear, and just be reassured that, we try to make ourselves available. So feel free to reach out anytime. Adolfo, what's going on in your world? We don't hear you, Adolfo. I'm going to come back to you. Rob, how's it going, man? Thanks for being here. Maybe Rob's not there.
I am here. I am here. I just had to unmute myself. No, it was good hearing from everybody. I guess I don't have. I got a couple transactions that are winding up, and I'm kind of in a dead spot, just trying to get back into it again. Yeah. As I've said probably too many times, but the good thing that I've taken the initiative, and I joined Shane Tokem's accountability class. So I went there on Tuesday, and that's what I need to do. I need to really just kind of get back into doing little things, and I've never done that before. So I think that's the positive thing for me right now is mindset. Just kind of like what Alan's always talked about is being busy.
Yeah. I think we lost you for a sec.
Can you hear me or no?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Yeah.
So, going with Shane and, reading the Morning Miracle, getting ready to implement that on Monday, start getting up at 5 a.m. and try to do that for 12 weeks. And then he's talked a little bit, good things about you've been doing, Tony. So maybe I'd like to maybe sit down with you one day and see how you're doing your structure with your Miracle Morning. And he was, how you got your tracker and everything going. Yeah. So just trying to implement some things like that to kind of keep my momentum. I got, like I said, 2 closings coming up in May, and then I'm kind of dead after that. So again, part of it is I'm not doing enough activities to kind of create that. So I got to, sold my dining room table or got rid of it. I donated to my church, actually bought a desk. So I turned my dining room into my office now. So hopefully little things like that will kind of like put a spark under me, and looking forward to having a good 2022.
Yeah. No, for sure. That's awesome. And I'd love to catch up with you anytime. So let's connect. Some of the stuff we'll be going over in these slides here. So hopefully that will answer a few of your questions, but let's connect for sure.
Right.
Mark Hale, you want to hop in here and share?
Yeah, I'm actually only on for about 10 more minutes, so I'm glad I got to, I guess, and I missed the very beginning because I was in a task. So are we going around the room and just saying what it says on there? What's your success story? What's working for you?
Correct. Yeah, like, what, how's everything going on in your world? Is there anything that you need help with?
All right, well, I think there's a couple on here that I don't necessarily know so far. Justin and Adolfo, I might have met, but I'm in the lending world. So I'm also part of EXP and still a licensed real estate agent, but my main job now is in mortgage. So my success is that for the past 2 years, I have been, I got into the mortgage world and was just a pre-approval specialist for Adam Hughes, who is a pretty high producing loan officer. So learned a ton of information over the last 2 years. So the successes in the last 6 months, I started originating loans, but recently I became my own loan officer. So I have all my own stuff. I've got my own website with Legacy now. I've got my own landing page for applying. So, even though all this is happening right at the time that mortgage rates are skyrocketing, I think it's a good step for me. And then I know that, this is one of those harder times in the business, whether it's in real estate or mortgage, like what our company leaders are saying, where we might be 6 to 8 months into a 24-month cycle. But, if you just, hold the course, hold steady, stay true, find a way to make it through, the people that do make it through these times come out, ahead, because this is the time that businesses like ours, a lot of people get really discouraged. So these calls are like perfect to not get discouraged and to hang on and everything. So my success is that I became my own loan officer finally. And I'm just, every day I'm focusing on the other things, like just staying consistent with my daily routine to keep my mind positive. And Tony and I had lunch yesterday talking about a little exercise and keeping that stuff going. So yeah, it's good. I need help with whenever somebody has a buyer that needs me to talk to them about mortgage, you can send them my way.
There you go. Yeah, cool. Mark, I'll plug him real quick. Mark is one of the smartest individuals I know. And he's one of the first calls I make when I have hey, what the heck is going on with this loan, or what do I need to do? So highly recommend that you get his contact information, and he will be able to answer any questions or help any buyers that you need help with.
Well, thanks, Tony.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Adolfo, are you there? Your mic working? Looks like you're unmuted. If we get you back, we'll come back to you. So real quick, my check-in. Let's see the chat real quick. Okay, cool. This is my check-in. Some of you know me on a really personal level and know some of the things that I've been dealing with recently, and I'm not going to go into that right now. But I've been feeling very distracted in general. I had a really good, productive first quarter, and it set me up with a decent numbers going into the second quarter. And I was fired up to start the second quarter and be great, but I'm just being distracted. I feel stressed. I have a house that's getting ready to close, which is super exciting, and I'm thrilled, and it's coming along great. Should be closing in early June, but it's also like a really high payment, and I'm like, woo, I'm not used to paying that. And just looking at money and different distractions there. And then feeling disappointed in some areas. I've talked to several of my mentors about, some of the disappointments, some of that being like agent attraction stuff, some of that being business stuff that's fallen through. Recently, I had one of my clients that's under contract on a new build talk about backing out of the contract, and not that I was like counting on that money, but it was like, hey, I got something under contract, we're good, because of the interest rate, right? So that's kind of what triggered a little bit of this talk. They were originally quoted like at 3.5% back in February or whatever it was, and now they're being quoted at 5.8%. And obviously that's driving up their mortgage payment, and they're going, that's way out of our budget, and etc. So as of right now, they haven't backed out. I'm talking to some other lenders and seeing what kind of options they might have, and it's still a little tight, but just trying to talk to them about that. And of course, that rang my alarm in my head, and I was like, I need to talk to all of the other people that are under contract for new builds, because I have a handful, and make sure that they're locked in. So I made those calls and go, hey, have you locked in your rate? Hey, what are you doing about your rate? Rates are going up. They might continue to go up. So the good news is they're pretty much all locked in and everything is looking good. And like, okay, cool. So kind of securing the bag there. All right. Just feeling down in general. I don't know what it is, but that's kind of where I'm at. I don't say this for you to feel sorry about for me or anything. Why am I feeling this way? All right. I fell out of my routine. Bottom line is I was distracted. I fell out of my routine. I'm not really executing my greatness tracker the way that I did in the first quarter. All right. And it's an issue. All right. I'm listening to the wrong things. All right. And you have to do some reflecting on this. And I know Mark has been there before. Alan's, everybody's been there before. And I even heard this Andy Frisella the other day while driving. Of course, I sent it to Alan, and of course, Alan's listened to like everything Andy's talked about. But I loved it. It was entitled on YouTube, Execute, 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 or something like that. But he goes, every damn day I wake up, there's not a single day that I don't want to go back to bed. Right? He goes, but I get up anyways, and I put on my clothes and I go execute. Right? And it's like, okay, here's something that's highly successful, multimillionaire, and that everybody has these feelings, right? So it's making sure that we plug into the right things and hear the right things, allowing bad news to affect my mood and last a while, all right? Not being able to snap out of that funk right away. That's what's causing me to feel this way, and at least I get to recognize that, right? So what's the solution? Well, it's actually pretty easy. There's no like magical thing. And even talking to all these guys on here, like there's nothing that's boom, there's this new thing of how to do real estate and all of our problems are fixed. I guarantee you these problems are always going to exist as long as we do this business. All right. But you got to get back into the routine. All right. So this week, I wouldn't say I'm 100%, but I'm like 80% back into my routine. I'm need to review my business plan. That was one of the things that Josh talked about last week, and make adjustments if need be. And he says, at least review your business plan every quarter, maybe every month. Just take a look at it and go, yep, those are the daily, weekly, monthly, and quarterly things that I should be doing. Right. My biggest thing, and this is where I'm right here, super close, and you've probably been hearing me say this for quite a while. I'm building my plan, and we'll talk about that in a second, but I need to schedule it, right? And it's kind of scheduled on paper, but it's not in my calendar, right? And that's my next step that I believe. And once it's in my calendar, then there's no reason to not hit it, right? I just need to execute, execute, execute. Once it's planned, it's scheduled, it's in the calendar. And then once it's in the calendar, you have to be a slave to the calendar, right? And again, these aren't like my thoughts. These are, again, one of the things about productive agents and me doing these trainings and all of us doing this together is like we are just sharing things that we're learning, right? That we feel are pretty powerful, have affected us personally, and think that it could affect you in a positive way. So, so this is the solution, right? Just get back to my routine, do the things that go back to, okay, on January 10th, I decided to do this, this, and this, and this. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back and do those things because it worked, right? And it fired up me emotionally, mentally, and of course, my business did well, right, from that. These things that we kind of talked about at the very beginning, what's on the horizon, right? The recession is here, a lot of people say, or is very near. All right. So, what does that mean for us? I go back to what Rick Tankersley talks about. He goes, you need to turn off the news and you need to turn off your social media to an extent. All right. Use social media to post and to interact with people, but don't just scroll for news and negativity and doom and gloom and all those things. I definitely find myself thinking about that. The other day, JJ shared that court ruling, and for the rest of the afternoon, at least, I was like, oh shit, like, what does this mean? Like, oh my God, like, am I gonna have to get a real job? I'm getting into way more debt with this new house. And so like my mind just started going down, 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 down. And guess what? There was no production coming out of that mind for that afternoon. All right. Sigmund's talking about that we're of course, he follows a lot of business people, but we're 6 months into a 24-month cycle, right? So it's like, okay, buckle up and get to work. They're saying that interest rates could climb to 7%, possibly by the end of the summer. And it's going to affect buyers. Like it's just going to. The buying power has come down, all right? Especially because when interest rates are low, of course, people were probably trying to max out their budget and going, before I couldn't afford $500,000 house, but now I can. And now they're still looking and they're going, oh, now I can't, right? Because interest rates are climbing and that mortgage payment has gone up by $200-300 compared to what it was just 2 or 3 months ago. All right. So what are y'all's thoughts on all that stuff? What are y'all hearing? Any feedback or thoughts on any of that? Does it make any of y'all feel bad or scared?
I kind of like what you were saying with like, gotta stay away from the news. You can't get bogged down by that. But then again, on the other side, I feel like I have to know enough to communicate it with the people that are asking me, right? Because so many people are like, well, I'm hearing this. So, what's your opinion? And I try and stick to like, well, a lot of the experts are saying this, and I've heard this and this. But like I do feel like to some extent, we do have to stay on top of it, as much as I wish I could just be like, stick my head down and just work.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And yeah, you do have to check in on those things. And like, for instance, I'm sure y'all probably get like Inman News emails and like what's going on and stuff like that. But I think what I'm talking about is like, don't get stuck just scrolling and oh my God. Like for me, social media, Instagram for me is like my newsreel. And sometimes I find myself getting pulled to Instagram and I'm just scrolling and going like, oh gosh, Ukraine, Biden, Elon Musk, like all this blah, 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 like what's going on, So, but yeah, you have to be knowledgeable about what's going on. Anybody else have any feelings about any of that?
I have just one thought on that is what I try to just say is there's nothing I can do about it. Like if it's something I can control, then there might be some reason for a little bit of stress, for my part in it. But I mean, what are we gonna do? There's a lawsuit that's being worked out in courts about buyer commissions, and there's not really anything that any of us on this call can do about it. So and we don't know how it's going to come out. A lot of what we always worry about, I think Mark Kell has always taught me this. A lot of what we sit there and stress over what might happen doesn't actually ever happen, So you just kind of have to keep track of what's going on in the world. And if you can control it, then that's one thing. But if you can't, you just kind of have to stay the course and, adjust if you need to at some point.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot. Cool. Control what you can control. All right. So this is what to do about it. Some of these are notes from Josh, but we looked up right then and there how many houses were listed like last week, and it was something like 3,200 listings like in the San Antonio area. All right. So, and I know that Ricky Caruth, again, going back to what are you listening to? What is infiltrating your brain? Ricky Caruth will say, it doesn't matter what market we're in, down or up, there's constantly houses being sold and bought. All right. And sometimes it's easier, I think, and again, I'm fairly new to this, but I definitely feel like I've learned quite a bit since 2019. And I'll tell you what, the next time that interest rates drop below or even get into the low fours or drop below, I'm gonna be like, everybody needs to buy right now. I don't know if we took major advantage of that. I know I probably didn't. But I did take advantage because things literally just like fell in your lap. It was like easy. You didn't necessarily have to like go look for people wanting to buy. People were like, I want to buy, I want to buy, I want to buy, but could we have pushed that a little bit more? But, for me personally, if I had 2 closings a month, I'd be a-okay. You know, I don't need 3,200, you know. So like, can you get 1 or 2 a month, you know, and get by? Or, you know, depending on what your budget is, maybe it needs to be more than that. Then you need to take, you know, more action, right? So go get yours. We have to be way more intentional about our business, right? I know last year, and I've talked about this before, I felt like I worked less last year than I ever have before. I didn't do as many open houses. I didn't really work the business as much. And yet I had a great year. It was better than my first year in 2020, you know, and it was probably because of the market. All right. It just kind of fell in. So now it's like, okay, now we got to work for it. You don't like, it's not just going to rain down into your lap. All right. So be more intentional with what we're doing. Write down a to-do list and put each thing into your calendar. All right. Be very proactive about it. Commit to doing the work and the results will be plentiful. All right. The answer is to talk to more people. So I may still lose out on this this contract with the new build. All right. But I can't worry about the contracts that I have. You know, I need to make sure that I take care of them and do what they need. All right. But I have to worry about the future business. Right. That's where the focus should be. Not about like, oh my God, I hope that these close. Oh my God, please don't fall apart. Oh my God, all those things. You have to go find more people to talk to so that you have more business that if things do fall out that are out of our control again, then hey, we have more people to plug in and fill in those spots. All right. So those are some things. This is my mantra. I think I mentioned before. I've started reading a little bit more of the Bible, and Randy Boulay mentions this, and I wanted to share this from Matthew 13. This is my mantra. And this is my mantra when it comes to agent attraction and also business right now. I'll read this real quick. Listen, a farmer went out to plant some seeds. As he scattered them across his field, some seeds fell on a footpath, and the birds came and ate them. Other seeds fell on shallow soil with underlying rock. The seeds sprouted quickly because the soil was shallow, but the plants soon wilted under the hot sun, and since they didn't have deep roots, they died. Other seeds fell among thorns that grew up and choked out the tender plants. Still other seeds fell on fertile soil, and they produced a crop that was 30, 60, and even 100 times as much as had been planted. Anyone with ears to hear should listen and understand. So the gist of this is we have to keep, you know, planting our seeds, like continuing to talk to more people. Some are going to fall through. Some are going to be eaten quickly and gone. Some are going to go, oh yeah, I'm interested. And then they go away. And some are going to like get under contract and something uncontrollable is going to fall apart. Yet some others are going to cross the finish line. All right. So we can't get down about the things that fall through. We have to just keep doing what we're doing, all right, and doing the right things, and we will be rewarded for that. All right. Does anybody? I'm sure some people have heard that before. A little story there. So I was sitting down this morning.
Yeah, that's very encouraging, Tony. I love hearing that. And just a quick note, man, I didn't mean to jump in, but
Yeah.
you were talking about like the interest rates, and I was kind of waiting for anybody who doesn't know, Meritage is running something right now. They just bought $250 million worth of loans, or however you phrase that, where they will lock your interest rate into 5.5% for the next foreseeable future. And I think they're going to try to do that more. So if you have any Meritage people or you're looking, they're locking in rates at 5.5%.
That's really cool. Thanks for sharing that. And that's something that I've noticed. Like I said, I'm fairly new to this industry, but I feel like lenders and builders, I feel like in times when things get a little bit tougher, they try to find a solution. is what I've noticed recently. Like I was talking to a lender that's like, yeah, we have this program that, for people that don't have a lot of money, it's 0% down. But then you can take that money that you're going to use on a down payment and pay down your interest rate. And so I like the fact that we get a little creative. Of course, you need to be careful and protect your client. All right. But thanks for sharing that, Rob. Appreciate it. This I go back to today, and this I give credit to Alan Grulick for showing me this, because it was just a simplified version of what is my business plan, and we've done goal setting before with Mark, and he does an awesome job about with all that. And this is what my simple mind likes to see. So it's based off of Agent Rise, which we've talked about before, the 3-pillar program, the sphere of influence, the chase pillar, and the attraction pillar. And I also put the team, all right, agents. But you just break it down daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, all right? And then you go, okay, for my sphere, what am I doing with my sphere on a daily basis? Well, originally when I wrote this, probably back in December or January, I said I was going to do 2 personal cards, all right? I did that for a little bit and fell off of it. Why? Why did I fall off of that? Because I don't feel good with my list of sphere, and I don't refer to that list. Because my roadblock on that is I go, okay, I'm sitting down. Who am I going to write that personal card to? All right, and I review this. Comes from Ninja Selling, but they could be a thank you card. They can be a just thinking about you a card. They can be a congratulations to your son for getting into the UT master's program. They can be a birthday card. They could be an anniversary card. And be creative. Whatever you want to write to, just start making a list. And one of the things that I'm trying to implement going into next week is I am going to write down the names of people on Sunday that I'm going to write cards to, right? I'm just going to get my great instructor and I'm going to go, okay, 2, who are the 10 people that I'm going to write to this week? And, here's another thing is like, go to Facebook and just kind of scroll through and go, oh, that's really cool. They just had a baby. I'm going to do a congratulations card for them, right? Or, oh, that person has a birthday. Okay, I'm going to do that, and then you start getting ideas from social media stalking, Facebook mainly, of just going, oh, this is a perfect reason to send them a card. This is another perfect reason to send them another card. I thought you were hopping on. All right. So then I was going to do 2 real estate reviews, and I've gotten away from that. So I need to go back. And again, my roadblock on that is again going, who am I sending that to? So how do I get rid of that roadblock? I plan, right? I sit down Sunday and go, okay, I'm doing 2 a day. That's 10 a week. Who are the 10 people I'm going to send this to? Well, heck, here's my database. Let me just start with the very top and just go, here's the 10. The week after, here's the next 10. The week after, here's the next 10, and just knock them out. And right now is a great time to send those real estate reviews. And it's funny because a lot of this stuff that I'm preaching to myself, is because they're tax assessment, right? The tax assessment, everybody's going crazy about it. We'll go, hey, if you want to protest your taxes, here's some great information for you on the value of your home. All right. And then 4 touches, just contacting people, a text message, a Facebook message, a phone call, anything, and then checking my hot warm. All right. So then, obviously you can see this. You've probably read through this. My chase pillar is Facebook Marketplace. So I either post on there daily or respond to questions on there. And then I do social media posts for my attraction and social media stories. Then weekly, I update my database. I'm not doing this, so I just need to take those off. All right. My attraction, I would like to do a video a week. So I need to leave that on there and make it a point. So as you can see, I write all this stuff out and it kind of simplifies the view of it. But now what I need to do is go, how long does this take? That takes 30 minutes. Okay, what 30 minutes in my day am I going to put that in there? Boom, it's going in at 9:30 to 10 o'clock, personal notes. All right, that's the next step from here. All right. Okay, 2 real estate reviews. Okay, that's going to take me 30, 45. Let's go ahead and schedule an hour. All right, probably knock it out sooner, but we'll block off. Okay, I'm going to do that at 2 p.m. Let's go ahead and plug that in there and set a schedule and do it. All right, same thing. I've never done this because I've never planned on a specific time and day of when I'm going to do the video. Mark Chambers and I have been meeting for several weeks and go, we're going to do a video. We're going to do a video. We're going to do a video. Sorry to call you out, Mark, but it's like, why haven't we done that? Because we haven't put it on a specific time and a specific day. On Sunday.
Hey, Tony.
Yeah.
When are you and Mark going to have completed that video?
I've decided I want to lose 50 pounds first. Sorry. Just kidding.
Oh, okay. So this might take a while, huh?
Crash diet.
Definitely.
So yeah, I mean, exactly. If it's not in the calendar, it's not going to get done, right? And so this is my schedule. All right. So my morning schedule, I love. I've committed to this since January 10th. I'm killing it. From 5 a.m. to like 9, I'm killing it. Like, no questions asked. I wake up, I work out, I do my silence and scribing. All right. I shower, and at 7:40ish, I'm walking out the door. At 8 o'clock, I get to Starbucks and I sit down and read for 30 minutes. And then I do social media for 30 minutes. And then at 9 o'clock, I do social interaction. So at the top of my greatness tracker, which I'll show in a second, is 5 interactions that I'm going to write down who I interacted with, right? Dropping comments. At 9:30, I put in here office prep, personal notes, planning for the day. All right. So that's what I'm going to do for that 30 minutes. And then at 10 o'clock, I'm going to get to marketplace. I'm going to open up and focus on just marketplace at 10 o'clock. All right. Obviously, if the phone rings and I need to take it, okay, I'll take it. But I got to knock out my marketplace for an hour. Then, going back to hot, warm, you got to focus on that daily with ninja selling. So from 11 to 12, I'm hot warming. All right. Checking in on all those people, making sure they have what they need. And then my lunch is at 12. And I come back and I go, okay, what's the next thing on my greatness tracker is my database. I'm supposed to at least talk to 5 people a day on my database. And again, the plan is going into the beginning of the week. On Sunday, I'm going to write in those names. Shane, hold me accountable. Next Wednesday, before Monday, I'm going to write in 5 names per day, Monday through Friday, of the database people I'm going to contact. All right. And I'm going to write in the 10 real estate reviews I'm going to do, and I'm going to write in the 10 personal notes I'm going to do. So technically, everybody here hold me accountable and say, hey, did you do what you said you're going to do? I should have 5 a day, 2 a day, 2 a day, already filled out names. And then when I do it, I just check them off that I contacted them. All right. Who's going to hold me accountable on that? Nobody.
I will, Tony. You
All
know
right.
I will.
All right. Sunday, hold me to it.
Okay, so you're going to do that every day. What are you committing to exactly?
So I said on my database greatness tracker, I'm going to fill in 5 names per day of who I'm going to talk to. All right. And then I'm also going to fill in 2 real estate reviews per day. And I'm going to fill in 2 personal notes per day. So technically, that's a lot. But
so for Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday, I'm doing that.
Okay.
Yep.
You got it.
Thanks, man. So yeah, knock this stuff out at 3 o'clock. I do my hot warm marketplace. I'll tell you what's going to end up happening is by the time I get to like 3, 4 o'clock, I'm like, damn, I did a lot today. And my greatness tracker should be already filled out, done and done. Well, okay, if I don't have a showing, I'm peacing out. I'm going home at 4. All right. And do whatever I want to do. Thoughts. If you want better results, you got to do better activities. It's not necessarily going, okay, what's the new greatest thing? We already know what we need to do. We need to talk to people. Our business is all about talking and communicating with people. All right. And how do you do that? Phone call, text message, Facebook Messenger, email, personal notes. All right. A letter of heart, mailer. All right. All of the above. Focus on one thing at a time. Block out your time. Boring business is a fantastic business. All right. So do the mundane. I'm talking to these people. You are the reason that you're experiencing success or not. All right. And we're going to go through these, fire through these real quick. The first book I ever read was the Tim and Julie Harris. I can't remember the name of the book. It was 2019. But this was their big overall quote. Do what you don't want to do when you don't want to do it at the highest level. Right? How many times do we wake up and go, oh, I really just don't want to do that? You know, and that's probably the thing, the one thing that you should do. And 9 times out of 10, it totally is. All right. This was shared with me. I missed this, but Josh Sigmund shared this with me. Bill Self at halftime told the Kansas basketball team this quote, and they came back and won the championship in the championship game, the biggest comeback ever in NCAA history in basketball. He said, just keep doing what we know how to do and keep doing it well, and things will work out. And it's like, that's really all he said. You know, the players were joking that it wasn't very inspirational at all. There was no rah rah like woo. You know, it's just like do what you know how to do, and do it well, and it's all going to work out. Right. So this is what I know how to do. This is what was created. Shane and I sat down at one of our first meetings, and we rearranged this greatness tracker. And so, Alan, right here, these 1, 2, 3 down here, I'm going to have all of this filled out, this whole section filled out before I start the week, so that I remove that roadblock of going, who the hell am I going to call? Well, whatever name is right here, I'm just going to text them or call them or message them, or I don't have to think. The name's already there, right? Man, I'm honestly getting a little excited about it. A little nervous, but a little excited. Of like, can you imagine if I've had this filled out going into the week? I had zero question of who I was going to send a thank you card to. I have zero question, because I guarantee you that's our biggest roadblock. We go, okay, I know I need to talk to people, but who the hell am I going to talk to? You know, it's like, well, you write it out and plan it out, and it's done. Books, I just started reading The Slight Edge. It's awesome. I'm only 2 chapters in. Highly recommend it. Very, very cool stuff. These other 3 books I don't know anything about, but Josh Sigmund, who is a very smart person, mentioned them. 48 Laws of Power, Rewire Your Brain, and The Millionaire Mindset. And these are kind of to reprogram you and get you out of any funk that you may or may not be in. If you're not in a funk, I guarantee you there'll be a point in your career that you will be in a funk, and there'll probably be multiple points. Would y'all agree with that, Alan and Mark?
Absolutely.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, exactly what Alan said. You know, looking at Mark kind of flip the switch faster than he did a year ago, and that's powerful. All right. What's your one thing, real quick, Christina? What's the one thing that you took away from all the stuff that we talked about?
Just do the thing. Just keep doing the thing.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Always what it is.
Pretty simple. Yeah.
Yep.
But do we do it? I know I don't all the time. All right. Mark, what's your one thing?
I think it's something I've done before, but I haven't been doing lately, and that's on Sunday putting it all down.
Yeah.
And then just putting it in the schedule. So I have a list of all that in a greatness tracker, but I don't always get it all organized on Sunday, so I'm ready to go.
Yeah. No, it's really difficult to do so, and I've thought about that a lot, and I go, because I know usually when I get home from church and it's Sunday afternoon and I'm just hanging out the house, the last thing I want to think about doing is work, or even thinking about work. So what I think I'm going to try to do is I'm going to wake up early Sunday morning before church, and I'm going to go to Starbucks and think about work and plan and knock that out for say an hour, go to church, and then it's already ready to go. So trying to figure that out, or whatever works best for you. So yeah, I'm excited about it, and Alan's going to hold me to it. So Alan, what's your one thing?
Yeah, just sticking to my schedule and keeping those commitments to myself.
Yeah. Cool. Shane, you hopped in late. What's your one thing of the stuff that you heard?
When motivation fails, discipline takes over.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that, but that was kind of a nutshell.
Yeah. Adolfo, are you
Yep.
is your mic working?
Oh, I think he's working. He's got
Okay.
some job doing.
Okay. Right on. Well, cool. That's everything I have. It took us right to the hour point. Just under, actually. We started a little late. So I hope you got something out of this, and share this with anybody. I'll recording this, so I'll post it up on the page. So invite anybody that you know. If you know somebody that is thinking about getting into real estate, or is at another brokerage or anything like that, feel free to invite them on these Zooms. And that's it for today.